Hey, it's Michelle from Bits and Pieces Paper Lab. Today I wanted to share with you something that's a total game changer when it comes to card making, and that is using SVG cut files. So let me explain what I mean. Every month I send out to my newsletter subscribers a card sketch that's in SVG format. So if you are familiar with card sketches, usually they're just drawn on a piece of paper and it will have just really basic shapes kind of showing you where to place things. Well, I like to make these as SVGs so that I have a whole stock of card sketches that I can just hit cut on. And I have a file saved on my computer where I save all of these, and it's just a game changer. A lot of times I'll sit down to create and I'll only have like very limited time. And I find that I'll have supplies I want to use or an idea I want to try, but I spend so much time like trying to figure out the layout of the card. So that's why I love this, because that part is done for you and then you can just kind of embellish to your heart's content. So I send these out, like I mentioned, I send these out every month in my newsletter. I also have a freebie that you can grab in the description below that's a set of these to get you started, and then that puts you on my newsletter list so you get a new one every month. But let me show you how I do these in the software first. So what I'll do is have a basic idea of what supplies I want to work with or what theme I want to do, and I open the cut sketch in the software. And then because everything is already in Design Space sized appropriately, I can add sentiments, or if I want to pull in a cut file, I can size it all right there in the software, and that way everything is perfectly sized right. I just go ahead and hit cut and get all my pieces cut out, and I'll even design multiple cards at one time in the software and just cut all at once. And then once I've got everything cut out, I'm ready to start assembling. So let me just kind of show you what I mean. So here is this month's card sketch in SVG format. And here's a card that uses pretty much that same basic sketch. You can see all I really added to this is the little sentiment. I did some little stars and epoxy dots, and then a little stamped sentiment too. So I stuck pretty faithfully to the sketch here. I just hit cut and then cut it all out and made a card that looks almost exactly like the sketch. A lot of times I find once I get going, I'll get kind of inspired to do something else. But this shows you just how to use the basic sketch. Now let's say you have a stamp that you want to use. You can do the same thing. You just cut out the base of the card sketch, and then you use a stamp for the little embellishment. When you're working with card sketches, it's really important that you kind of think outside the box. Just because this is a circle doesn't mean it has to stay a circle. You can use it as a matting layer, kind of like I did here, or you can change this out for anything else. So try to think outside the box. The shapes are just kind of like basic design elements. This could be a star, it could be a box, it could be a man's face, it could be whatever you want. So working with stamps, these card sketches are awesome for stamps because you can kind of get your base design down and then use your stamps. So that's a stamp version. And I just made a little rosette to go behind that. Obviously I cannot mail this. I'll have to hand deliver this, but the next idea is to use other cut files and just bring them in. Now here you can see I followed the same basic sketch, but I switched out my elements. So instead of circles, I've got footprints. Instead of a circle, I've got a little envelope, but everything else is pretty much the same. So you can see how the sketch can kind of inspire you to use other shapes and other designs. So this is a little Harry Potter card, and I got this wax seal kit when I was at Harry Potter World, and I've been dying to use it. So it's been like 6 months I've had it. I was going to use it for Christmas presents and never did. So it was a good reason to pull it out. So you can see that's the same basic sketch, just the shapes are switched out. And then let's say that you have some cute pattern paper and some little like pre-cut die cuts that you want to use. Same thing. You can cut your base design and then use your little scrapbook embellishments to make a card. So I hope that kind of inspires you to think outside the box on sketches and kind of, see how you can use those same shapes to create other things and how wonderful SVG sketches are. Here is a previous month's showing you how I use the same sketch, have totally different cards as a result. So you can really just start with one sketch and make completely unique things. Be sure to grab the freebie in the description and get on my monthly list so you'll get a new one every month. I just save them in a file, and I'll save the JPEG image and I'll save the cutting file, and that way I can just easily pull it up and browse through and decide what I want to use when I sit down to make cards. So I hope this has inspired you. Have a great day.